Alright YouTube, it's Shadow King Nazu, and welcome back for my review of the Justice League trailer from San Diego Comic-Con. Before we get into it, I just want to note that for the excitement for the trailer, they released a poster for the movie version of the Justice League, and it's done in the Alex Ross style, he's one of the best comic book artists. He's a legend among comic books works. And I say they did a really good job. They really captured the style of it. It really does make the movie characters have that blend of realism and comic book versions, which is he's known for. And he has done work for the Justice League. I think he did the artwork for the Kingdom Come graphic novel. My only complaint is that it doesn't have Superman on it, but I think after the movie comes out, they'll probably have like a poster that has Superman in it. I'm not sure where they're going to fit him in, but they probably could modify a bit so they can include Superman and it doesn't seem like he's overshadowed by the letters that says, you can't save the world alone. Even though technically some of these heroes have saved the world by themselves, but whatever. Anyway, we start off the trailer with a bank robbery, and Wonder Woman comes in to save the day, and she naturally handles the robbers easily because, well, she's Wonder Woman. She's like right on par with Superman in terms of strength and endurance, but she's like, she took on the god of war, Ares, in her first movie. So yeah, bank robbers are pretty much a bunch of scrubs to her. And anyway, it cuts to her daily job, which is working at the museum. So I guess in this movie universe, she works at the museum instead of working as an ambassador. Or maybe she does both. I'm not too familiar with Wonder Woman's comics. Because I just mostly know her from the Justice League TV shows. And she was an ambassador. But maybe they'll try to have a balance between both of them. Maybe as Diana Prince, she'll be a museum manager or whatever she is, and as Wonder Woman, she'll be the ambassador of Themyscira. And so basically, it then cuts to her talking to Batman, saying that the age of superheroes is they said would never come, and Batman saying that it has to. We've all heard this in the previous trailers. And then we got to Themyscira, and all the Amazons are going to this chamber as they're expecting some kind of invasion. And the invasion starts with Steppenwolf, who is the main antagonist of this movie, and the uncle of Darkseid. Yeah, he's his uncle, even though he's subordinate towards Darkseid. And he's basically going to try to conquer Earth for Darkseid. And he looks really badass. His armor does look similar to Ares, but I guess it would be that kind of way since they're both like godly beings and they're both warriors. So I guess it would make sense. And Steppenwolf really shows the badass. He's able to take on a lot of these warriors and even cause serious damage to the landscape. And he's also saying that Earth really doesn't have any good defenses. There's no Green Lanterns, so yes, there are Green Lanterns in this universe, and we'll probably get a movie about the Green Lanterns. Whether they'll do a Hal Jordan movie, though that might be controversial because last time we had a movie about Hal Jordan, it kind of sucked. Or they could do Kyle Rayner or Jon Stewart, just anybody but Guy Gardner. Fuck Guy Gardner, he's such an asshole. So yeah, they said there's no Green Lanterns, no Kryptonians because, Superman's dead, quote unquote dead at the moment. And we don't have Supergirl because she hasn't been introduced yet. So yeah, Earth's pretty screwed at the moment. And their only hope is to form the Justice League. And we always get to see the members use their special abilities. We see the Flash doing his ability to phase through barriers and so on, just by accelerating his molecules I believe that's how it was. So it's almost like he phases through these solid objects. Or it's more like he's breaking through the window into pieces, but he's moving so super fast. We see more action scenes with Batman and Aquaman. They had this one moment where where he jumps off Batman's Batmobile, lands on a parademon, and collides down with him. And it was so cool because they're really hinting that Aquaman is going to be the show stealer for this movie, and I really do buy it more and more I see with it. People are going to stop making fun of Aquaman, even though I've been guilty of making fun of Aquaman because I've mostly known him from the Super Friends TV show, and we all know how much Aquaman sucked in that show. Well, what else was of note? We also got a note when Batman was talking to Alfred. Alfred saying that he kind of misses the days where his biggest problem was exploding wind-up penguins. So obviously this is a reference towards the Penguin. So yes, Batman does still have his extensive rogues gallery. Whether we'll see the Penguin in Ben Affleck's new Batman movie, well, it's technically not his movie anymore since they got a new director and a new script for it. But he's still going to be involved in it. So whether he'll be fighting Penguin or Poison Ivy or Joker or whoever, it does still detail that Batman still has his vast rugs gallery, and they do have a lot to pull from. Then we cut to the more fights with the Justice League fighting the Parademons. We get a little bit where Cyborg tries to control the I think they called it the Batcrawler, and he's able to improve with his cybernetics, since part of his technological body is comes from Apocalypse from the boom tubes. The movie will explain what the boom tubes are, so I don't want to spoil it for you guys. It's basically those cube things from when you saw Batman v Superman, if you actually watched the movie. As for Cyborg himself, they really did improve the CGI, even though I technically didn't have much of a problem with it. Though I could see how some people thought it looked too fake, and I would kind of remind how his design kind of looks more like the Michael Bay Transformers. I mean, I think it kind of works since it's alien technology for this version instead of like Earth-based technology for his body like it was in the original comics. Because they wanted to have it tie into Apocalypse and Darkseid. It's going to be basically the new 52 version of Cyborg. And we also got this nice bit where Flash said that he's glad that everybody is ready to fight the Steppenwolf and his army of parademons, but he doesn't feel like he's up to the challenge because all he's ever done was just run really fast and push people. So yeah, they're basically saying that this Flash is very inexperienced and probably hasn't been Flash for very long. Hasn't really built himself up with a lot of enemies. So I don't think he's taking on people like Reverse Flash or Godspeed or Captain Cold or the Trickster. So many other villains. So I think it's going to be much like Marvel's Spider-Man with the MCU, where he's just like starting out and he's kind of a novice, but he'll build his reputation and skills over time. And there's basically just more action scenes, seeing them work together as a group. And we also got to see more of J.K. Simmons as Jim Gordon. I think he's going to do a really good job. And he's asking basically how many of these members of the Justice League are there. And Batman's saying that he's not enough. So even Batman's starting to have his doubt. But being Batman, and being cynical is nothing new, to be honest. And the trailer ends off with Alfred's cup of wine, I believe. It starts rumbling and there's a ripple effect in it. And he starts staring at somebody and he says, You said you'd come. Let's hope you're not too late. Now, this is kind of obviously teasing towards Superman, and I did like that they're acknowledging that Superman is going to be in this movie. I mean, they also have toys of him being in there. But I think they're not going to reveal Superman in this in the trailers until the movie comes out. So they'll probably have them in trailers or TV spots after the movie come in and everybody's seen the reveal of Superman, so it can have the maximum impact when he returns. Now I can see some people are upset because Superman is going to be only like in the final act, or may have some minor scenes towards him, and then be built up later. Uh, but I feel if we reveal him and it pays off well, then I think it can be forgiven. And I also do like that we're still mourning over Superman's death in the trailers and in this movie, even though I still hated how Batman v Superman had him die towards Doomsday in his second movie, because I felt that they should have saved Doomsday for like Justice League 2 or 3 and have built up Superman's character so it could actually have the same emotional weight that it did in the comics and other versions where Superman died at Doomsday's hands, because we barely know this version of Superman, so it's just not as impactful, and he's has as much influence on the other characters as it should be. But I think if they can really pull this off, then I'll totally forgive them, and they could really make this a good Justice League movie. All in all, I feel this was the best trailer we've gotten so far. It really starting to show the character dynamics, even with Bearland being the funny guy, where he says that he makes a joke about how Batman and the other guys just disappeared while Jim Gordon was talking, and then he honestly used his super speed to run away, like he just popped out of nowhere. We also get a good little bit of action. We finally got to see Steppenwolf and see just how much of a threat he's going to be. We also finally got our tease towards Superman. So yeah, I really did like this. I think that Zack Snyder and Joss Whedon... Yeah, we can ignore that. Okay. So just ignore that. It's stunning. I'm really sorry. This is taking up a lot of time. Okay, it stopped. Okay, so anyway, I felt this was a really good. This was a really good trailer showing the dynamics of the character, revealing Superman, showing how much of a badass Steppenwolf is going to be, how much of a threat he's going to be, and I feel that Joss Whedon and Zack Snyder are going to do a really good job with this movie. And yeah, yes, in case you didn't know, Joss Whedon is taking over the role of director for this movie since Zack Snyder's daughter just died. God rest her soul, and my sympathies towards the Snyder family. But yeah, I think they're going to do a really good job, and hopefully Joss Whedon can make this as good as he did with the first Avengers movies, even though I'm not exactly a big fan of the second Avengers movie that he did. We also got the news about Danny Elfman is going to do the musical score instead of whoever was doing it the first time. I say as long as he includes the theme music from the Justice League cartoon show. No, that goes going dun 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 dun. Yeah, that music. As long as they can add that music or have like a remix of it, then I'm totally fine with it. And they could totally do it since Warner Bros. Does own the rights to the Justice League cartoon. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. And I'm not sure if I'm going to do a review of the Thor trailer because, well, I'm not a big fan of the Thor movies, but we'll keep it up in the air. So that's my thoughts on the Justice League trailer, and I'll catch you guys later.